Hello, everybody. I am Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is So I'm Watching RuPaul's Drag Race Season 16, Episode 6. Welcome to the DollHouse.
Love it. You know what? I am luxuriating, actually, in the runtime this season. Because we were at the beginning, and they're doing the, mini challenge, this flamenco thing with, Charo and, 2 other flamenco dancers. And I was like, I feel like the doll thing didn't take up a lot of time. But then the doll thing took up so much time, too. And I was like, okay, all right.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I was going to be like, so this wasn't... I was really excited for this episode because I am a bit of a doll person.
What?
And having said that, the actual challenge and runway I found to be medium to medium good. But I was loving this episode. It was the sisterhood between the strippers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They care about each other's color blending.
They do.
And that's a Showgirls reference in case you don't know.
Showgirls commentary reference.
There are 3 other people out there that will laugh at that. No, I really, I'm sort of, I love this season.
Yeah.
And I am really enjoying this crop of girls. And even I feel like Plain Jane is dominating a lot of the conversation. And I think that's because, for the most part, everybody's just getting along.
Sure.
And not necessarily in a boring way, but I don't know. I'm just actually liking watching these people.
Yeah, and you and I never think that part's boring when they get along. It's so, I mean, the drama of shows like this is fun sometimes.
I want people to have personalities.
Yeah.
And I want for people to have things that they believe in and feel strongly about and are passionate. And if that clashes, then an opportunity for something, you know.
Yeah. But for me, the Plain Jane thing is it's very she'll say something mean, and then it's a very man-based approach because she'll say something mean, and then she's like, well, I was just joking. And it's like, I'm sorry if my body language doesn't give off the approach that and it's just like, you're doing something wrong.
Well, okay, so I think she's softening a little bit, and I think
a little bit.
And I think
it was way too early for her to say, I'm turning over a new leaf.
Because if you have a leaf and you turn, it's the same leaf.
The reason why I think the Plain Jane Amanda stuff, it was a power imbalance.
Yeah.
She was punching down, and I don't mean that as patronizing as it sounds.
No, but it's like Amanda is not as polished, and which we watched her Watch It Packin' from last week, and I didn't realize that she was barely 2 years into drag. So it's like there's a lot going on there.
And that was so funny. She was like, I walked in thinking top 4, and Michelle was like,
honey. Oh, honey. Yeah.
And so that was just so out of pocket, where Plain Jane being like, I'm going to turn over a fresh leaf. Everyone in the room was sort of like, okay.
Yeah.
And so it's a bit more balanced. It's a bit more even. And even her doing her thing where she was going from station to station and sister, what are you doing? And they're like, get out of here.
Yeah.
They're like,
scram.
I'm not doing this with you.
Because it's similar to the Mhi'ya thing where she was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what I'm doing. And they all were like, fuck you.
The thing with, I don't think, because there's a slight narrative that Mhi'ya is being deceptive, and I don't buy that. I think that in the moment, she hadn't decided which one of her brilliant ideas and untouchable talents she was going to tap into for this challenge.
So that's the thing. If I were the rest of them, I'd be furious because Mhi'ya basically didn't construct anything on the first day and then came out with that confection of a dress. Unreal.
But Mhi'ya can pull off cute. She can pull off cutesy, where when Plain Jane is doing it, I said something.
You're an entire man.
That's what I was like, this is a man. That's not.
Because we were talking about Dawn.
Right. Because I was like, Dawn, because Dawn is the secret bitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was like, she can pull off the what? I'm just a little girl.
Yeah.
Because speaking of watching things, Trixie and Maddie Morphosis.
Oh my God.
I'm just a little girl.
Yeah.
Dawn can pull that off.
Yes.
And we did get a little bit. We got 2 or 3 of what I think are the most straight, honest, artifice-free talking heads from Plain Jane this episode. And she did talk about how she is, the Russian thing is not a gimmick. Her family is a Russian immigrant, and she was raised with other Russian families. And it's a very strong culture, I'll say.
It's repressive.
Yeah. And so there's a part of me that I'm sort of like, so, because you know a little bit what it's giving me? It's giving me when you, like, not quite, because I think it's out of high school, but it's like when you go to college and you're like, I'm going to be a new me.
Sure.
And I feel like she's sort of, like, I feel like this is a test run or something.
I could see that. But the issue for me is I'm like, you grew up in this repressive place. Your dad was throwing F-slurs around, threw away your dolls and gave you fire trucks. Like, there's a lot going on there. That sucks. I'm very sorry about that. But it's like, how did you grow up in that environment and then not want to do the exact opposite? Because while it's obviously not on par, it's like you're tearing the other girls down in a way that, like, if that is just a gimmick and you're trying to, like, get in their heads or whatever, fine. But, like, it just feels like it's without purpose. Like, you're just going up to people and being like, I don't like the look of you.
Well, because they even called it out in Untucked where they were like, because she claimed that she was genuinely asking Plasma, what is it like to know that the judges are appreciating your journey?
There's no way to genuinely ask that question.
I think, well, okay, ask the question. I think that there's a way for that to be a genuine curiosity. But what they pointed at was the fact that she announced it, stood up, commanded the room, and even pointed. So it was very hostile. Like, it was very aggressive.
Also,
she tried to spin it as, like, enthusiasm?
No. And the other thing, too, is, like, I think that's, like, a weird whole thing to do when, like, we haven't, like, from a producing standpoint, because that's the first I've heard of them being like, Plasma, you need to fix your makeup. Mm-hmm. So I was a little baffled by the whole thing in general, where it was like...
By the whole narrative.
Because I was like, this feels like there were other moments where Plain Jane was kind of a bitch in this episode. And so I was like, it felt sloppy on the producer's part, because I was like, you're picking something that, like, we haven't really witnessed a backstory for.
Certainly,
in order to, like, prop up this Plain
I'm sure
Jane
you could find a quote. Like, I'm sure somebody might have said something somewhere, but it hasn't resonated.
Not
in
like
the story.
Amanda's makeup. Yeah.
Because I found, broad strokes, I found Plain to be more... This episode was the closest I found her. Like, she was coming off more rascally to me in this episode. And I think that's what she's going for. And where I'm curious is, I wonder if she's like that always. Like, are you like that?
Or are you putting this on hard
for
the
TV?
Cameras? Yeah.
It's like, are you like that on, the dressing rooms or the green room of State Lake? I don't know. And that's where I'm sort of like, maybe she is a little bit trying something out.
Sure. Also, I'm sorry, these bitches keep looking into the barrel of the camera when they are not doing talking heads, straight down the barrel. And that is wild to me, because I don't recall that ever happening before.
Again, I'm sure it has, or I'm sure you could point to an example, but I don't remember it, and every time we react. So I feel like we would have been
I feel like I'm watching The Office, the way that they just keep eyeballing the camera.
Yeah, but I expect it from Office. It's giving me Fleabag.
Okay, sure.
Like The Office or like Modern Family, it's like you're used to that.
Yeah,
but
it's weird. Super weird. Because at first it was also only Plain Jane did it a couple of times, but then
Mhi'ya did it, Plasma's done it.
So now it's like, who hasn't looked at the camera?
So yeah, you mentioned the flamenco dancing. It was fine. Charo, they brought her out of her
cocoon.
Her case that they keep her in when they're not filming.
The Good Place, like the demons in The Good Place. Yeah.
And it was a design challenge. They had to... I kind of want to go back, because maybe we were talking over it, but I had missed the part where the doll look needed to be identical. I was thinking it was more like a Runway collection, where I thought it was meant to more complement.
Oh, I see.
And so I was a little bit disappointed, where I was like, oh, it's just the same. We're just carbon copying it with varying levels of success.
Yeah.
They were good dolls. They were big, which is helpful. I really, really wish I had Mariska here. I can try and pull a picture of her. I used to make dolls in high school for like extra money, and I am on the precipice of starting again.
I think you should.
Because mama needs money. So if you're interested, if you guys think I should start making dolls again, let me know. And I'll pull some stuff. But no, I appreciated the dolls. And they seemed like they were a nice quality and they had like a nice face and stuff. And I guess we'll hit the runway in a minute like we usually do. I'm trying to think if there was more because I definitely felt a lot of things watching the show. Sapphira, I really like Sapphira. And one of the things that I like about her is that because she is, I've said this a few times and you've said a few times, that she is the mother hen.
Yeah, of this group of girls for sure.
But I do like that she's not untouchable. And I don't mean that as shade or a read or anything, but I do like that even she feels like she has things to
learn and grow.
To learn and places to evolve and grow from.
And I also love that she's not unflappable and that she knows her limits because she took her immunity potion this week. And you know what?
I mean, it's a little early, but also I would rather...
Yeah. I would rather use it. Because what happens when it expires?
Because you are waiting. You are waiting for the moment that they decide that they're going to use it, and Ru is like, "Oh, sorry,
it's just outside the expiration date. You arrived 1 minute before your final, or 1 minute after your final exam started, so you fail the class."
And so there's a part where I'm like, it's a little bit like the phone a friend, where there's sometimes where I'm like, "Come on, don't waste it there," but I'm like, if you don't know.
Else?
Then I mean, hey, get you another episode.
She was definitely going to be safe in this.
I think so.
At the very least, she would have maybe.
I don't think she would have been bottom.
At the very least, I think, or at the worst,
or like lip sync.
I think she would have taken Plasma's place. But because she didn't have the opera coat, like she didn't manage to finish what she was
really
like anticipating.
Wanted to see that.
Me too.
I also wanted to see I think Dawn's original. She was wearing something at one point that was lined with like
sunflowers,
a yellow.
Yeah,
and I really wanted to see that because it was not in the final look.
A lot of people, like 3 of them. Then
there was a lot of very ambitious plans.
Yeah, and I'm like actually pretty bummed that we didn't get to see what Geneva was originally working on because that seemed way better. And I think then that a couple of them got in her head and was like, this looks really, Megami was like, this looks really bad together. And we both were like,
the red and blue?
The red with the sheer over top of the blue looked really good, actually.
Because Megami said something about it looking cheap. And I was like, oh, honey, all of that fabric's cheap.
Yeah, that's
it's
a product of
fabric
the fabric,
wall.
Not
fabric.
Of the look. Yeah.
But, no, and Sapphira seemed really in her head about the fact that she used the potion, and I wouldn't worry about it. I think that...
Well, she was like, I regret it immediately because it tastes like ass, and all of the judges look gobsmacked.
That was funny. Yeah. The fact that she was like, the second I said it, they were all like, really?
Look, it's whatever. If you're that worried about it this time, and, she was like, I didn't get to complete my look, and like all this stuff, then fine, then do it. And... I think it was really...
Hey, keep Mothering Plain, and maybe she'll give you her potion when you need it.
Maybe. I also think there was...
Old day in hell.
An issue for me with the translation of the dress from her to the doll, because she used the same lace, but it was so much bigger proportionally on the doll. It looked like an applique
on the doll.
And it looked, in my opinion, much better on the doll than it did as the, like, small pattern on a big person, as opposed to a big pattern on a small doll. So... I think they might have dinged her for that, too. So I think it was probably... Maybe she could have waited one more week, but I think it was probably the right move.
I also thought, like, because I also missed the part about the presentation. Yeah. And I thought a lot of their presentations were medium to very successful. Yeah. And so overall, like... Because I was tired when we started this. Yeah. I was very tired.
And I'm tired now.
Well, but no, I'm not. By the second commercial break, I really had perked up. And this was one of the ones where I was like, oh, I just like watching this. Yeah. Like, I could have just kept watching it.
It's fun.
And the drama is a series of...
events.
Yeah. Well, it's like... unfortunate or unexpected events. Yeah. And sometimes people think drama has to be fighting. No. And it's not always...
Or sad.
Yeah, it's not always the case. let's look at the red carpet because I definitely have a couple more things to say.
You keep doing it. Runway. It's cute though. Looking at Rue's pearly whites and that dead-eyed smile. Oh, Rue, this dress on Rue too, incredible.
It was really the color, and
then like ombre.
The like chartreuse down to like almost
olive,
like an earthy, yeah. And the fabric, we're in this like there's a lot of
shiny
space age fabrics and textures, even coming off of the Margiela. Because like I didn't realize how much like Gwendolyn Christie is wearing a breastplate, and she's wearing hips, and the way that the fabrics or the way that their skin looked like glass. I don't know. There's a lot of things happening that's giving me very future in a way that I'm like, I mean, it is the future. We might as well feel like it.
Let's do it.
This was fine.
It's fine.
I've liked other looks of hers better, including the Little Mermaid look. That
I like
is
the
very
bow a lot.
The bow does wonders.
The bow
gives
is like
this flamboyance.
The bow's doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Mm-hmm. And she's rocking the pants. It's fitted. It's nice.
They're well-tailored pants. Props on that.
I think I wish the top was maybe a little slinkier.
Or either slinkier or more structured. One, it has to be one or the other. But it's like in a weird in-between.
But I love this color story.
Yeah. Yeah, see, it just, I don't know. There's something about it that's a lot more pleasing to my eye on the doll. The way that the pattern is on the doll.
I think if she had the coat, like it needs a stole or like a
something in a solid color.
Is she the one that you were like? She
does sell the runway.
Her acting,
This in a back, like it's very, it's like that. Her crowd work is fantastic.
Oh yeah, it is sheer. I didn't quite pick up on that.
I think like a solid and like more silk or like satiny, big, like ruffled thing would have been. But she ran out of time because she was helping.
I thought this was great. I guess they had her in the bottom.
I don't really get it.
Because this is...
Well, the story is not great. But then they did clock her for like, you know what a bobby pin is. Like pin your thing.
The first two I could kind of tell they were design challenges. And I mean, if you push me, I can tell. But that wasn't... When she walked out, I wasn't like, oh, so she put this together with Lycra. You know what I mean? Like, it felt a bit more elevated.
I also am...
And the doll's great.
Furious that everyone else stole her fucking fabric and she got the, like, boot for all of it. Like, I would be mad.
I like Plasma. They loved this?
Lost their goddamn mind. It's fine. I'm not mad at it, but like they lost their fucking minds. And I feel like, am I wrong? Like, it does just look like an ice skating outfit. What am I missing?
I want more mermaid. Like, because she kept talking about aquatic. And I was like, I'm not getting ocean anywhere.
Again, though, her voiceover was funny.
It was. And I like the Russian stuff. When she's doing her character is where I'm like, oh, okay, I'm getting it now. But it's like I'm not getting it by looking.
And then there's just like two starfish on her back. No, I don't know. It's beautiful, unbelievable. I honest to God think probably their only ding is like, why is there no pink on the doll?
I guess, because the pink is what makes it work. If it were just yellow, we would absolutely get the note that you're
leaning on the yellow.
And she's finding ways to make... I loved this. How this wasn't in the top. It's like... Oh, God.
It's so pretty.
I don't have words. I guess I do, because I do love that wig, though. I sort of say, I guess I wish that the hair maybe was a bit more like the doll. But
the style is close enough, but the color is
it just looks so elevated. Like it could. I feel like if someone else tried to make this, it would look like one of those tacky 80s prom dresses.
Sure.
But this looks couture to me.
Yeah,
this looks like this belongs in a Tim Burton movie.
Sure. Yeah.
And
also the bow is just like
I find her intoxicating. I am kind of it. And just she knows when to be stupid.
Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah.
I know exactly what she's going for, but then it was like, why did you bring up the BBL in your voiceover? That was literally the only note they gave you. And like, I guess blessedly her ass isn't out in the
Isn't it though?
I mean the hips are not the whole ass, I guess.
I mean, it's pinned up in the back,
Yeah.
but it's out. Like it's
But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was just like, well then I mean
the tooth.
Yeah, that's funny.
That gave us something. And I mean, I've warmed up to her as a person.
sure.
But I think her drag character just doesn't
It's not
resonate
totally
with me.
for me, yeah. Again, fine. But like, so I'm having a hard time with the tits, everyone's tits. These are, my problem with these mostly is I feel like she should have put some makeup on them because they are,
Shiny.
well, and the wrong
Yeah.
color.
They're like not warm enough.
Yeah.
It's giving its chocolate.
Sure. So it's like, I also like this. I like that Saphira helped her to get some stuff sewn and everything, and it's fine, but it's
And I love
also-
watching her flip. Like I love the
Yeah.
lip sync stuff, and she like because sometimes the tricks don't work for us.
Yeah.
It gets a little bit like
monotonous.
or just sort of like not quite show off, but between showing off
sure.
and monotonous.
Because it's like, yeah, it's cool that you can do that, but like, are you
she
lip
does it in a
syncing?
fresh
It's
way.
very good. Yeah.
And especially the way and I mean, this is not a read, I swear to God, but the way she throws her weight around.
I was gonna say the exact same thing. She did that thing that Buffy always does when she's flat on her back and then just from momentum threw herself up, and I was like, damn, girl.
And it just it's very scrappy in an exciting way.
Yeah, I like it. I
And-
like her. That's the thing is like until she started doing all of the tricks in the lip sync, I was like, well, I feel like she's going home because she just still, there's something about her personality that's not 100% clicking for me where I'm like, you're able to do all that dancing and stuff, but you are so shy. Like there's just a shyness all the time. And I'm like, you need to be
She's
like,
probably well, but I was gonna say she's probably overstimulated, but isn't she one of the Miami queens? You would think she would thrive.
I don't know. So I don't know if I said it in an episode or in
You
one of our
didn't,
watch
and I was wondering if you were going to.
I have a feeling that she recently got these braces
Mhm.
and that she is very self-conscious
Self-conscious.
about them. And I'm just like,
Because you specifically said she shouldn't be.
she shouldn't be. If you're gonna, and also like just even if you are a self-conscious person, if you're going to have adult braces, fucking own that.
Work on it. You're working on yourself.
Own
I mean,
your
remember when
adult
Gwen
braces.
Stefani had braces?
Our
Yeah.
friend Trevor has braces,
Yeah.
adult braces, and I just, it's like whatever. Like get your adult braces, and I think it's whatever. But that's what it seems like to me because I've also caught her a couple of times like she's going to smile really big and she pulls it back, and so I want her to feel more confident in her skin.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's also a couple times now because we've had a design challenge and she obviously can't sew because Saphira was helping her the whole time. That for me, I'm like, let's get into a challenge where she can thrive because it hasn't happened yet.
I'm excited about Gone with the Wind.
Sound of Music.
There you go.
Yeah. Same.
Sound of Rue. I was like, there was a Rue pun in there.
Yeah.
Sound of Rusic.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
Well, old school musical.
Sure.
Old school musical. But yes, that's my vibe on Mhi'ya. I like her. I want to like her more.
Mhm.
I guess
That's a really good way to put it.
Yeah. I do love this fabric. That's like super fun fabric. I
This was really good.
loved this.
You really did?
I really know it's like it's such a good color story. It's like so much better than the Staten Island Fairy last week. It looks amazing on her body. The sparkles are fantastic. The orange is really good. The flowers on the shoulder.
The
The
Monarch.
orange in her
Mhm.
eye makeup. I mean, and then the doll is fantastic. I mean,
It's one of the other ones that I was like, this doesn't look like a design challenge to me. I would believe that
No.
this was like a couture.
For me,
Not couture, but you know what I mean.
it's like top to bottom. The way that she's got the sparkly coffee cup. I don't know.
I just realized it was a coffee cup. That's very funny.
Every single part of this works for me in a way that she has not worked for me at all yet this season. And this is really doing it. And it's like, it's just really well done because she's got the T-strap shoe and everything. I mean, it just, for me, it looks great. At a bodega. She's getting sold at a bodega. Love that too. Yeah, I don't know. I was into it. It's not good.
No.
I feel bad about it. I really wish that we could have seen her first look.
Yeah.
And that is the thing where it just does look so much better on the doll because of the scale of the paillettes. Yeah.
Well, even just the...
Yeah.
Because you need the collar or
the sleeves. You can't have both.
And if you're gonna have both, then it's like it needs to be more avant-garde.
Yeah. And it was like not really a good story either. Why are you spreading butter on your leg? Like it doesn't make any sense.
You were trying, so you were like, does she maybe use butter to do the leg hair?
But it doesn't make any sense.
This was good. We weren't quite as wowed by it as they were.
They like lost it for this and the plain Jane, and I was like, I mean, they're good.
It's well constructed, but I needed detail. I needed some
thing. And also
some crystallizing, or
for me, not for nothing, but the panel seams on the skirt. I'm like, are we Nancy Pelosi in 1998 at like a state dinner? What is happening? I
like it more than that.
Well, it's like the time period, I guess, that the panels of that skirt evokes are very like political state dinner in the 90s and not Balenciaga.
It's giving me a Futurama character.
Sure. I'll give you that. I bet there wouldn't be those fucking seams on a Futurama character. I don't know. The seams really bothered me.
I agreed with Michelle's that it still is so identifiably her, but it is the makeup look is toned down, or
I agree with
something
that for
slightly
sure.
different.
Yeah, for sure. I love though too that it was like where the dawns come from, the planet of dawns. Unreal.
This was
so beautiful.
Stunning. Oh my God.
Yeah.
The only thing that I find a little bit perplexing is what the wire. I was like, are they meant to be like wings or something?
Well, it looks like it, and she's doing like a little fluttery thing.
I don't know that she needed them, but the headpiece, the skull cap, and she went for it because she was like, I'm not going to. I mean, Michelle looks fantastic.
Yeah, but come on.
The way that everybody was going for the bright colors, and she was like, I'm going to go for like the neutral tones
and stuff in the back.
But then this is like brass or copper or like rust.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
And it feels both organic and artificial. Sure. Like it feels space age, but also fey. Because I compared it to, I was like, this looks like the Lord of the Rings opera.
And the glitter. Yeah,
like Galadriel from that opera. And it like theater costume.
Yeah. It's
like rich.
Really beautiful. And they even were like, I can't see a flaw on this. And it's probably because the fabrics are so rich.
Rich but it like both expensive, but also in depth and tone.
And she really melded the like patterns and textures of everything really well.
Like this could even, because I said stage, and I mean, I specifically chose the word opera. This is almost film quality.
Like a Julie Taymor stage.
Yeah. And because you even said that when they were doing the makeup, and you were like, girl,
why so much red?
Red?
Like red, like, bronzer and everything. And I was like, okay, like, well, I trust you.
And this, like, I can't tell the time period, because this almost looks like the Wizard of Oz.
Sure.
Like, this almost looks silent film, but also the future.
Yeah.
Like, this is in the running for my favorite look of the season.
Yeah. I also loved when she was like, in her little voiceover, she was like, well, she can't dance, but she's, blah, blah. I like, yes, poke fun at yourself. It's great.
Yeah. That one really wowed. For me, it was Mhi'ya and Q are the two that really knocked my socks off.
They are definitely the two that are the best at the fashion.
I can't remember specifically what it was. We got a glimpse into Q. she was talking about growing up. Oh, they didn't have a lot
poor.
of money growing up. And I was like, there it is.
Yep.
That's where this perfectionism is coming from.
And also, so it's like,
and I think it also keeps her a little bit distant.
Yes, 100%. Because to me, it's like, it pings to me where like, if you have to be worried about stuff like that and everything, you're more scared of being foolish. So it's like, she's very awkward about the like dancing and like sometimes
but it's like
performing
it's both a coping mechanism and it just sort of even the pictures of her from high school I just found to be so heartwarming and I quite literally every season of Drag Race there's usually one or two that stick out for me and I kind of follow them on Instagram immediately and then from there I sort of wait for them to give me a reason. And that when she was telling her background story, I pulled up Instagram and it turns out I had already followed her. But if I hadn't, that was going to be the moment. Because I felt like I understood. I was like, I understand where you're coming from now.
Because it's like the reason for the perfectionism is because she feels guilty for following her passion for the arts because she feels like she should break the cycle of poverty. And so it's like being on RuPaul's Drag Race. She's like,
or like she feels like she has to justify it.
She's like, I need to be the best and win so I can have money.
It reminds me of there was a person, and that's all I'll say for this conversation. But there was a person that I didn't like a lot, and it was because I felt like they were trying too hard. And then I had a moment with this person where I was like, "Oh, you just want people to like you.
Yeah,
that's why you're trying so hard." And just having that touchstone changed my entire view of them.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think it's very interesting when on something that was keeping you from liking a person can become the thing that makes you like them.
Sure. Yeah.
If you get a crumb of context.
Yeah.
I find it very interesting.
Well, another thing too, though, is that she is very likable.
She is,
but it's like on.
But there's like almost a standoffish quality, and I was like, "Oh, it's a defense."
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I'm really impressed.
Yeah, me too.
I liked this episode. I like this season. I don't know. I'm really enjoying this.
Yeah. So she won. Q won, and
she got a cookie.
And Geneva went home.
Geneva was great.
I liked Geneva. I'm gonna miss Geneva.
Yeah, and I said the Geneva's drag was fine for me. It wasn't what I was.
Well, you and I are in the same place where it's like I like you as a person, but your drag is not my style.
I liked Geneva more than I liked what their package was.
Yeah,
I'm gonna stop. But yeah, and then the next week is the Sound of Ruzik. Yeah. I'm in. I'm excited.
Me too.
So I suppose let us know what you think and like and subscribe. And we checked out the Patreon and bonuses and Teen Wolf and Desperate Housewives and Gilmore Girls and you know the drill. So we'll see you later.
Bye.